G'day, my name's Nate. Welcome to Latoria Walkers Camp. But we're here on the beautiful Cooloola coast. I'm with my friends Jack, Matt and Tay, and we are doing the Cooloola Great Hike this week. We have literally just finished day 3, 14.2 Ks today. We've got into camp a little bit early, so I wanted to run you guys through a bit of a system on how to pack your bag for these multi-day trips. Packing your bag right can really make or break your trek, and if it's not packed right, you definitely feel every kilometre, especially when you're doing it day after day. So let's give you a bit of a run through of my kit. I've got the Osprey Aether AG. It's about a 70 litre pack, this one. I carry a little bit of extra gear because I need camera gear and charging gear for filming while out here for these sort of things. Jack's also rocking the same pack here. I wanted to show you his pack because I've suckered him into carrying the tent. So I wanted to show you how that's packed on the pack there. The general rule of thumb with your hiking pack is that you don't want it to exceed 20% of your body weight. And to help manage that pack weight, bring a set of luggage scales with you before you depart. So that night when you're packing your bags ready to go, you can quickly weigh everybody's pack, see who's cheating out and going really light, and give them a bit extra of yours. My pack was about 28 kilos at the start of this trek, and yeah, if I hadn't have packed that right, I really would have suffered on day 1. So this is my little camera bag that I have. I keep it on the front of my pack. It helps keep me nice and balanced, but it also lets me access my camera quick and easy through the day. With your straps, you want to keep your waist belt nice and high, just under your belly button there, so that the weight of the pack is transferred onto your hip bones and off your shoulders. This waist belt's full of Cliff Bars and shot blocks and Hydrolite. This waist belt's full of scroggin for eating on the trail. Instead of having to stop for a snack, you can just quickly access it. As you can see, my Luci Lantern sitting on top there. It's been getting a bit of solar charging from the sun today while we've been walking, so that way at night time you can save your head torch batteries a little bit. These little Luci Lanterns are worth their weight in gold. All right, just having a quick look at the outside. I've got my night shoes just stuffed in here. I really don't want them inside my pack because they're pretty dirty. Underneath that, I've got my wraps for lunch, which I can quickly and easily access. The brain of my pack is filled with any little bits and bobs, bits of food for lunch, so I can access that quickly. One really good tip I got for you is to get one of these, the Orb. It's a rolling ball for muscle aches, but it weighs nothing. Therefore, I deemed it suitable to bring on a multi-day hike, because having the ability to roll out at night, all those little aches and pains, bottom of your foot, back of your shoulders, on your hips, all that sort of stuff really helps getting you up and ready to go the next day. Another little tip I've got here, this is all stuff that like literally just lives on the top of my pack, is to bring about 5 meters of paracord or climbing prusik, just 3mm cord. This stuff is pretty vital. As you can see, I'm using some of it here to keep my Luci Lantern strapped. I wish Luci Lantern would come up with a better way to strap the light to your pack whilst having the solar panel up, but they don't, so there's a bit of paracord there. When you get to camp, you can string this up between a couple of trees, hang all your wet, gross clothes across it, let that dry out overnight. As well as if you snap a shoelace, you can replace your shoelaces. And if you forget to bring a belt and you shed a bit more calories than you assumed you would during the trip, you can use paracord as a belt, and having your pants not fall down on you in the middle of the day is pretty good. So this is a Katadyn BeFree 1 litre micro filter bottle. I like it because it packs down. It's just a soft bottle, so it packs down really well. We've been pretty lucky so far. Like I said, I haven't really had to filter the tank water. It's looked pretty clean to me, and I've decided to not filter it. But if you're looking for a good light filter, I do recommend these. You can really use whatever you want, but that's what I've got. Head torch for quickly accessing when you get into camp at night and it's dark, like we're probably going to do tomorrow because we've got 20 Ks tomorrow. And then into the crux of the pack. So underneath my brain, I have my medical kit. I've got the AMK Medical Kit for this trip. It's an ultralight medical kit, and it comes in a waterproof pouch as well, which I think is super handy. I also chuck in Panadol and Nurofen, which I couldn't do these trips without. Dropping a couple of Panadol and a couple of Nurofen at night to help you sleep and help your body recover instead of being achy and uncomfortable is really good. I actually took a couple before I started this morning because I was feeling a little extra sore. We do have water treatment tablets in here as well, which a couple of the guys have been using. And then inside, right at the top of my pack is my Goretex jacket. It's been raining on and off all day, every day. And then I've got my pack liner. Everything lives inside the pack liner because the last thing you want is the things you need dry, wet. You don't want your sleeping gear wet, you don't want your night clothes wet, you want to keep all that dry, and a good way to do that is by having a pack liner. It might seem a little bit overzealous, but it works for me and it hasn't failed me yet. So, first up, tech pouch. I need this sort of stuff for filming during the day, so that lives up the top, along with a little ingenious way I found to protect my lens inside my cup. I don't know if anyone's ever done that or even if it's smart. More camera gear. That's a sneaky little drone. And then underneath that is my food, also in a dry bag. I do not want my food to get wet. There is all of my food there except for the lunch that I need for tomorrow. That is already in the lid of my pack, and my snacks that are in my waist belt. Underneath my food, we're going a little bit lighter. That's my cookware. So that's my bowl, my fork, my Jetboil gas canister, and a cutlery set. So a little bit lighter than the food, but closer to the top as well. And then underneath that is just my AeroPress and coffee stuff. So I can just grab those 3 items, go to breakfast in the morning. I know everything I need for brekkie is right there. And then underneath that, last but not least, is my clothes. They're a little bit lighter, but not the lightest. Also in a dry bag, you will notice. That way, when I go to bed at night, I can just grab my clothes dry bag, chuck it in the tent. When I get in the tent, all my clothes are there to get nice and dry and clean. And then the lightest thing and the last thing you need during the day. And guess what? It's also in a dry bag. This is my sleeping bag, sleeping mat, and pillow. This is the thing that I definitely don't want to get wet. I know it's going to be dry. I know I'm going to get a good night's sleep because that is the most important thing on a multi-day trek is your sleep. One thing I haven't touched on is your hydration bladder. If you're going to carry 2 litres of water in your bladder during the day, get a 2.5 litre bladder. You don't want to have your bladder so full that it's expanding outwards and it's pushing into your back. So that's a little something I've learned. If you want to carry 2.5 litres, get a 3 litre bladder. Now, before you pack your bag in the morning and hit the trail, be sure to fill your bladder up and put it in first. Because if your pack is full of stuff, you can't get that bladder in and you're just going to have to pull it all out. And when you're on a multi-day, little things like that really, really get to you. It can be really frustrating just having packed your pack the way you want it for the day, just to turn around and see your bladder hanging in a tree, and then you got to take it all back out. I also keep my my Nalgene in that side mesh pocket as well. I use this for drinking water around camp, and I pop my hydrolytes in it in the morning before I hit the trail. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a bit of an insight as to how I pack my bag for a multi-day hike. So it's probably about time we go and set up our tent now. We want to have a bit of time to enjoy the lake that's just outside of camp here. It's about 600 meters down to there. So going to set up our tent, set up our sleeping gear, go for a dip and come back refreshed and have some dinner. Hopefully you've learned a thing or two about how to pack your bag for a multi-day adventure, and we'll see you on the trail. This is why you prep your boots. Before any big trips. That water is just absolutely beating off.